Okay, so we are in the second part of solving quadratic equations by factoring. Okay, so you guys just had some factoring warm-up, so that's good. Now we're actually going to apply that for solving. Okay, what are the three forms of a quadratic function that we've been dealing with so far?
Oh, sorry, roots, zeros, and x-intercepts.
No, that's when we're solving, right?
Yeah, the three things we need to solve.
Yeah, but what are the three forms of a quadratic equation?
Oh, like vertex form, factored form, standard form?
Yep, perfect. Vertex form, standard form, and factored form, you bet. Great. So, and we have those, so you guys make sure you write these down if you remember them. Oh, look at that. Woohoo! Vertex form. A bracket x minus h squared plus k is vertex form, you bet. H is going to be the x value of the vertex. Remember, if it's a negative h, it's moved to the right. And if it's a positive h, it moves to the left. And k is going to be the y component of the vertex, right? Yeah. Okay, second one, we had factored form. This is what we're going to get really familiar with today. Okay, so y is equal to a, x minus r, x minus x, or sorry, x minus s. And this is where our r and s are the x-intercepts, right? We just have to set those brackets equal to 0 to find out what our x values are. Okay, and lastly, we have standard form. Okay, y is equal to ax squared plus bx plus c. What do we know from the graph by looking at just the equation in standard form? What does the c value tell us?
Oh, y-intercept.
Excellent. You bet.
Yeah.
Good. And what does the a value tell us in all cases?
The direction of the opening.
Right. So if it's positive, Logan?
It's a happy parabola, and if it's negative, it's a sad parabola.
Yeah, so if it's positive, it opens up. And if it's sad, it opens down. You bet. Okay. As well, what does it mean to solve an equation? So Cody, this is what you were trying to jump ahead and solve already.
Yeah.
Oh, zeros and x-intercepts.
Zeros,
Roots.
x-intercepts, and roots, right?
All important.
So zeros, x-intercepts, roots, for sure. So on a graph, where should our eyes be going?
To the intercepts,
Which one? The y-intercepts or the x-intercepts?
probably the x-intercepts.
Yeah, so like the x-axis.
Well,
Okay.
I guess not necessarily.
Why not?
Well, because there might not be x-intercepts.
Right. And in the case when we have two functions like set to another, we'd be looking for the intersection points, right?
Yeah. Intersection points.
Intersects, yes. And the intersection points. You bet. Okay. Let's do an example here. So, let's say we have x squared plus 8x plus 15 is equal to 0.
Yeah.
Okay, that's our function. So let's solve this by factoring. Okay, so what is going to give us a product of 15 and what is going to give us a product of 8?
We do 3 and shit, never mind.
No, you're right.
Oh yeah, 3 and 5.
Yeah, 3 and a 5. So 3 times 5 is equal to 15 and 3 plus 5 is equal to 8. Okay, so we
Then have x squared, x minus 15.
so we'll have x plus 3
Or yeah, x plus 3
and x minus 5. I don't know why I put x minus 5. X plus 5.
Yeah. And you use your x squared. Correct.
No, because if I were to expand this, right, then it would be x squared plus 5x plus 3x plus 15, okay? So to find the x-intercepts here, we have to set each bracket equal to 0, okay? So x plus 3 is equal to 0, and I will just solve for x. Subtract 3 from both sides, so x is equal to negative 3. So 1, 2, 3 is one intercept. And for the other one, x plus 5 is equal to 0. Subtract 5 from both sides, x equals negative 5. Okay, so our other x-intercept is 2 to the left of it. Okay, and from there, we can go ahead and make our parabola. Is this a happy or a sad parabola, Logan?
It's a happy problem.
It sure is. And Logan, while you have the floor, what is my y-intercept?
Your y-intercept would be...
Come on, how you got this?
15! Woo! Nice.
I knew I got a cookie. Thanks for cooking.
Okay, and then when you are graphing, guys, it's not enough just to put the points down. You have to put your coordinates of it as well. Okay, so we have negative 5, 0, and negative 3, 0. Skoden. All right. So far, so good?
Oh, yeah. Logan, you have David on Snapchat?
Yeah.
You see Big Dan?
No.
Like Tim and Dan?
Oh yeah, I know.
You see Dan on a walker?
You good, Brody?
Yeah, I see.
You good? Okay. Okay, so
Goodness, absolutely hilarious.
quadratic equation is written as x plus 2, x minus 5 is equal to 0. So determine the roots of this equation. How are we going to do that?
Determine the roots of this
Which
equation.
one of them? Didn't one of them duct tape me to the fence at Coles?
Logan, how are we going to find the roots of an equation?
Just because you were talking, you could figure it out.
Okay.
What did we do last problem?
Last problem we canceled out the. Hold on. It's kind of like the new.
Come on, how you got this? What's your y-intercept? What's your x-intercept? What's your vertex?
Your
Which
our
way does it
x
face?
intercepts are positive 2 and negative 5.
Nope.
Yeah.
No, wait, negative 2 and positive.
There you go. Okay. And how did you get that, Logan? To solve in factored form,
You have to find the x intercepts.
we must set, and write this down if you didn't know how to do it.
Y to 0.
We must set, no. We
Okay.
must set each bracket equal to 0. Okay, so our first one, we have x plus 2 is equal to 0. And our second one, we have x minus 5 is equal to 0. So we'll just get x by itself. So subtract 2 from both sides. We have x equals minus 2. And over here, we'll add 5 to both sides. X equals 5. I don't like that one. I was going to say plus 5, but I don't need to. Okay? X equals minus 2, and x equals positive 5. Okay, so 1, 2, and positive 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay? And that's not enough. Just to put your points on there, you have to tell me the coordinate. So we have 5 and 0 and negative 2 and 0. Alright, I'd like you guys to try this one on your own, please. Okay, so when you're asked to find the roots of the quadratic equation, you need to, again, set each bracket equal to 0. Okay, that's how I set it up here. So I have x minus 3 is equal to 0, and I also have 2x plus 1 is equal to 0. Okay, so to get that by itself, I'm going to add 3 to both sides. So x equals 3. And over here, we're going to subtract 1 from both sides, and then divide by 2. X equals negative 1 over 2. Okay? So again, then we'll just go ahead and plot our points. So 0.5 is about there. 1, 2, 3 is about here. Okay? And again, make sure you write the coordinates down. And there is no negative in front of our brackets, right, to indicate that our A is negative, so we'll just assume that it is positive, that it opens up. Okay? All right.
This one, do we have to like organize it or something?
Like rearrange this? No, because it's already in standard form, right? Remember, standard form, ax squared plus bx plus c. Yeah. It always goes from highest degree on the exponent to lowest degree, right? Okay, so now we are given our quadratic in factored form, or sorry, in standard form, and we need to factor it. Okay, so we need to look at these two values for our product. So what's going to give us a product of 12, and what's going to give us a sum of 7? So if it doesn't come right to your head, you can list off the factors of 12.
3 and 4.
Yeah.
Yeah, perfect. It's going to be 3 and 4. You bet. So 3 times 4 is equal to 12. 3 plus 4 is equal to 7. So now we will write this in factored form. So x plus 3, x plus 4. So then we will just solve, or we'll set each bracket equal to 0, right? Okay, so x plus 3 equals 0, and x plus 4 equals 0. We'll subtract 3 from both sides. So x equals minus 3. And we'll subtract 4 from both sides. X equals negative 4. Perfect. So now that we have those, we'll plot them on the graph. So negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, negative 4, and negative 3. This is a really skinny something like that. All right.
That didn't work.
Where'd it go? That one. Nope, not yet. This
Yeah,
one.
it's
Yeah,
just x squared minus 81.
Oh,
Yeah.
perfect. Okay, 0 is equal to x squared minus 81. Does this look familiar? Does it look different?
Different, but
So, how is it different, Cody?
well, it's only a binomial.
Okay, good. Okay. So, is there anything we can factor out of this binomial?
No.
Other than a 1? No.
Yeah.
But what is x squared? What is 81?
What is 81?
81 squared?
Or how is 81 related to something that is squared?
It has a
9.
square root.
It has a square root. Yeah, 9. So these are both perfect squares, right?
Oh.
Remember these guys?
Yeah.
Yeah, difference of squares factoring. So how is this one going to be expanded? Does anybody remember?
It'd be.
Would we take 9 out and would we take, x
I
out?
don't know. You do
Kind of, yeah.
You do x plus 9, bracket x plus 9.
Ooh, close.
No, because there's only 81 squared, so it'd be x plus 9, or would it be x plus x?
No,
X squared.
you were really close, Logan.
Minus 9.
Minus 9.
Oh, shoot.
Right? Because then if we expand that out, we'll get x squared minus 9x plus 9x, so those will cancel, and then you get 81.
Yeah, I should have known, I thought.
That's okay. Okay, so then, again, we'll just set each of these equal to 0. So minus 9. So x equals minus 9. And plus 9. X equals positive 9. So when you see something like this, when you have a positive and a negative value, you could also say x equals positive or negative 9.
Yeah.
And put it into one box. That's fine with me. But if you prefer to do it like we were doing, that's fine too.
Okay. Jones, can I use the washer?
Yep. Okay, so now we're just going to plot our points. So we have 9 and 0, and negative 9 and 0. And it's a happy parabola. No evidence to indicate otherwise. And there's our parabola.
This next one's gonna be tricky to figure out.
Why do you say that?
We have to do 192 and 75. Can't do 1, can't do 2, can't do 3,
No?
can't do 4.
Okay, so are you thinking of difference of squares right now?
Yeah.
Okay, good. You're right, 75 is not a perfect square, neither is 192. But could we potentially factor something out of this first?
75.
Yeah, the 75.
75 will not go nicely into 192.
No.
Think a little bit smaller. 1 will work, anything divided by 1 will work. 2, no.
No.
75, no. 3 will. So we take out a 3, we'll get 25 p squared. And 192 divided by 3
64.
is 64. Did you know that or did you calculate that?
I calculated it.
I was just curious. Okay, now does this look a little bit better?
Yeah.
Right? Because 25 can be taken the square root of, right? Square root of 25 is 5 and the square root of 64 is 8. So we're good there. So we'll leave the 3 out in front. And now we're taking the square root of 25p squared, and we're also taking the square root of 64. Okay, so the square root of 25p squared is 5p, and the square root of 64 is 8, so I'll have a 5p plus 8, and then I'll have a 5p minus 8. Now what?
Now we can turn that 5p in. Oh, you can't go 5p into 0 though, couldn't you?
5p to 0?
You couldn't go 0 plus 8 now and 0 minus 8.
No, you're right. How am I going to get rid of this 3?
Um,
What's it doing right now?
it's multiplying.
Right, and the opposite of that?
Perfect. 3.
0 divided by 3
0.
equals 0 still, yeah. So now we can set those equal to 0, right?
0 plus 8.
So 5p plus 8
0
is
minus
equal to
8.
0.
So
And then-
negative 8 and positive 8.
5p minus 8 is equal to 0. Nope, you're jumping too far ahead, Cody.
Oh.
So if we'll subtract 8 from both sides, now we have 5p is equal to negative 8.
Oh, and 0.
How are we going to get that p by itself?
Divide.
Divide by 5? Okay, so p is equal to negative 8 over 5. And now we'll do the same thing over here.
Divide by 5.
Plus 8,
Oh.
plus 8. Now we divide by 5. So p is equal to
8 over 5.
8 over 5. Or you could say p is equal to plus minus 8 over 5.
Now
Which
we-
is,
It'd be like, I'm gonna say it's gonna be 1, or sorry, it's gonna be 2.6,
close,
2.7,
lower,
2.4.
1.6.
Oh,
So it's gonna go about here, I'd say. Something like that. All right, is factoring the only way to do this question?
no.
No. How else could we have done it, Cody?
I don't know.
Is factoring the only way to do this question? No.
Let's just say yes and be happy.
When there is only one variable, we can solve or isolate for that one variable. Okay? When there's more than one variable, we're gonna have to do something different. You guys remember the quadratic equation from 10C? B squared plus or minus
Z squared.
square root of b squared minus 4ac.
I don't remember 10C at all.
We'll cover that later on this week. Okay. Here's our next one. 0 is equal to 5a squared minus 10a minus 315. So, what does our a value equal?
5a squared.
Yeah, so 5, right? So a does not equal 1,
No.
right? So before we even try to factor that, we can try to take out a common factor. Is there anything that we could take out of all the three of these?
1.
1, yes. Think,
Other than that,
think a little bit bigger.
you can't do. Oh, 5.
Yeah, let's take a 5 out. Okay, so if we do that, we'll have a squared minus 2a. 315 divided by 5 is...
45.
No, 63.
No. Is that? Let me check that.
Because 20 goes into, or 5 goes into 100 20 times.
Wow.
20, 40, 60 plus 3.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay. So now, at this point, we need to ask ourselves, what will give us a product of 63? And what will give us a sum of negative 2? And I should have said negative 63.
We could do. We could do negative.
9?
Negative 9 times 7.
And negative 9 plus 7, right?
Yeah, negative 9 plus 7.
Perfect. Perfect. Okay, so now we have 0 is equal to 5. A minus 9. A plus 7.
I'm tired.
Are we doing like trinomial factoring?
Yep.
Same thing we're doing.
Okay.
Yeah, it's the same thing that we're doing, but we're
Getting more in depth.
getting more in depth to it. Yeah.
Alright.
When's gonna be our first quiz?
We're having one on Wednesday.
On Wednesday, yeah.
So
Yeah.
we'll do tomorrow?
7.1 and 7.2. Tomorrow we're just gonna have a review time pretty much.
Alright.
Okay, so now divide both sides by 5. Now we still have 0 is equal to a minus 9, a plus 7. We'll set each bracket equal to 0. Right, Logan?
Yeah.
I have no idea what you just said.
A minus 9,
It's negative plus 9.
so
plus 9,
a is
plus
equal
9
to
is
9. And subtract 7. Okay, a is equal to 9, and a is equal to negative 7. Okay, so 9 can be over here, and negative 7. And our a is positive, so happy. Something like that.
And then our y-intercept would just be negative 63 or something.
It would be negative 315.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Yeah,
Alright,
that TikTok is the best.
we're getting there. Sorry, Cody?
No, there's just this one TikTok. Do you have a Zachary disease?
Not that I know of.
Because your face looks exactly like your butt, and then it's like,
Yes,
sit down.
You're lucky I took anger management classes.
Yeah.
Okay, so when you are solving by factoring, you always want the number in front of the x squared to be positive, okay? So remember in standard form, we want ax squared plus bx plus c, right, is equal to 0. So am I going to put the 49 on the right side, or am I going to put everything else on the left side?
49, or, shit.
If I always want the number in front of the x squared to be positive, am I going to move the stuff on the right side of the equation to the left side?
No, left, or right to left.
Right to left, right? Because then I'll have positive coefficients. So plus 4x squared, plus 4x squared, plus 28x, plus 28x, cancels, that equals 0. Right? So then you get 4x squared plus 28x plus 49. Okay, and then in this one, what numbers, so we can't factor out anything, right? 49 only has 1, 7, and 49 as its factors, right? So now we need to apply our rules here. So what is going to multiply to give us a product of 196 and a sum of 28? Okay, I'll tell you guys. You guys aren't gonna get one that's like this difficult for a quiz.
I know it, it's 15, 15 and 13.
You're really close.
14 and 16.
No,
Or 14 and 14, sorry.
nice try though. Nice try.
With a calculator, I would eventually figure that out.
Right? So now we're just going to expand this. So our plus 28x is going to become 14x plus 14x, right? So I'm just going to move down here. So 0 is equal to 4x squared plus 14x plus 14x plus 49. Now what can I take out of 4x squared and 14x?
X.
X for sure. And a 2.
Yeah.
So then I'll have 2x plus 7. And then out of 14x and 49, I can take out a 7.
Or you can take out 14.
Nope, I can't take out 14.
Oh, shit, yeah, never mind.
I put you more.
So if I take out a 7, I'll have 2x plus 7. And remember, once you're at this point here, if whatever is in your brackets do not match, you are in trouble. Okay, you've done it wrong. Okay? So at this point, now we're just going to take what's inside the brackets and what's outside the brackets and make a new one. So we'll have 2x plus 7. And we have 2x plus 7. Fancy that. So what happens if I set one or both of them equal to 0?
Then you're left with 0.
Well, if I have 2x plus 7 is equal to 0, right?
We'll have -7
Divided by
x. And then divided by 2. And then
You'll end up with 0.
So x equals -7 over 2, right?
Oh, okay, yeah.
Okay, what if I set this other bracket equal to 0?
It's the exact same thing, but x equals positive 7 over 2.
No?
Oh, it's the same thing.
Same thing, right? So I could just rewrite this
Just square
as
on that block.
2x plus 7 squared, right?
Yeah.
What does that mean if I only get one value for x?
There's only one x-intercept.
Boom. Nice.
let's go!
Nice. This means that there's only one x-intercept at x equals -7 over 2, which is 2, 4, 6, which is about like 3.5. Okay, so let's jump up. -3.5. You okay?
To run of a hat. Definitely.
Okay, so one x-intercept and it's a happy parabola, right? Positive. And what is one other thing that I know? What other ordered pair could I plot on this graph? What's my C value?
Mm, 49.
Yeah, what does that tell me?
Where you're like where you are on the graph, your y-intercept.
My y-intercept. Yeah, good.
0, 49. X-intercept 0.
-3.5 and 0.
Your vertex is
And I guess that would be a vertex too, hey?
49.
Alright, moving on. I might motor through a little bit here, fellas, just because I want to get through this lesson today.
Okay.
And then you guys are going to have all of tomorrow for prep and practice time, okay? So bear with me. So, if we were to write a quadratic equation that has roots of 4 and -7, okay? So this is x equals 4, x equals -7, right? So what are my corresponding values going to be for those?
X -4.
X positive 7.
Good. Very good. Because when this bracket, when x is equal to +4, that whole bracket will equal 0. And in our second bracket, when x is equal to -7, -7 plus 7 is equal to 0. Okay, good. Is this the only equation that could be written?
Yeah, no, yes. Let's just go with yes.
So
Or let's just write n. Oh.
for our roots, those are true. But what could be different is our a value.
Yes.
X minus r and x minus h. Yeah. A value could be different. Cool. And what else do you need so that you only end up with one answer?
I have no idea.
Another ordered pair.
Oh.
Boo.
You're really late today.
I know, I was in that office.
Okay.
Okay, so another ordered pair, another known ordered pair.
Oh yeah, newsflash, we have language. God, I don't remember.
Okay, so this last one here, we are given a quadratic equation for a door and an archway from the of that one.
You're gonna have to teach yourself this stuff.
Okay, so a kitchen has an archway as an entrance. Our curve is h is equal to negative 0.625 w squared plus 5w. Okay, so h is height, and that's going to be on our y-axis. And w is the width, which is the x-axis. Okay, so a fridge in a box which is 7.5 feet high. So our height, so our h2 is equal to 7.5 feet. Right, that's the height of this door, or the box. Okay. If the box must be kept upright, what is the maximum width of the box possible to fit through the archway? Okay, so we are concerned, well, here's our parabola, right, which is modeled by this equation here.
Yeah.
And here's our door, right? So is that door going to be able, or the box going to be able to go through the door,
No.
right? So our h2 or our y2 is going to be that 7.5 feet, right? And our original function is this. So basically is what we're doing here. We're trying to find if these two functions are going to intercept, okay? And if they do, like what are going to be the dimensions of the box so it can fit through the actual archway of the door. Okay, so we have two different strategies to solve this one. So we have solve by factoring and solve by graphing. Okay? So that is the setup. Solving by factoring. So we had h is equal to 0.625 w squared plus 5w, and h2 is 7.5 feet. If we wanted to find if these things are going to intersect, remember we could do, so h is equal to, this is our original function, 0.625 w squared plus 5w. And remember our height that we're concerned about is 7.5 feet. Right, so we're just going to substitute that in right here. So then we will have 7.5 is equal to negative 0.625 w squared plus 5w. When we're factoring, Logan, what do we want our equation to be equal to?
0.
0. So how am I going to make it equal to 0?
I would say you try to cancel on. Get rid of the 7.5, I'd say.
Yep, sure. So we'll take 7.5 away from both sides. Good. Okay. And remember, there are two things that we always want to factor out of something, right? We always want to factor out a negative and a fraction slash decimal. So let's do that. So 0 is equal to negative 0.625. So if I take that out, I get positive w squared. 5 divided by 0.625 is going to be negative 8w. And negative 7.5 divided by negative 0.625 is equal to positive 12. Okay? So now, if we divide both sides by negative 0.625, we can get rid of that. And we'll be left with 0 is equal to w squared minus 8w plus 12. If we are solving by factoring, now we need to ask ourselves, what is going to multiply to give us a 12 and add up to give us a negative 8? Well, negative 6 times negative 2 will give me a positive 12. And negative 6 plus negative 2 is going to equal negative 8. So I will separate this. So I'll get w minus 6 and w minus 2. And if I set each of these equal to 0, w minus 6 equals 0. W is equal to 6. And W is equal to 2. So what? So what? What are these? What does this tell us? Well, what was our x-axis? X-axis was W, right? Yes. X-axis was W. So when the width is equal to 2 feet, and when the width is equal to 6 feet, what? What did we do up here? Before we canceled out. 7.5 is equal to that, right? So when we've got that to one side, we have just found out where the archway's height is 7.5 feet.
Yeah.
Okay? So between 2 feet and 6 feet, the height of the archway is 7.5 feet. Okay? So in that case, if there are, if there's 4 feet in between the archway, how big can the box be? Or what's the maximum width the box could be?
Like 1.9 feet.
No, how much?
Oh, sorry, like 5.
Maximum would be 4 feet, right?
Oh.
Because it has to get between this distance here.
Yeah.
So
Oh, okay, yeah.
max width is 4 feet. Okay, and if we solve by graphing, you can just do your y1 and your y2 and see where those intersect, right? So our y1 will be negative 0.625 w squared plus 5w. And our y2 is going to be what? What do we care about?
Width, or the height, sorry?
The height, right? So y2 will be 7.5. Okay, you guys with me still?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So this right here is where h equals 7.5. And our y1, if we were to graph that, it would look something like this. Just give me a second, guys. Okay, our intersection points are 2 and 7.5
Would fit.
and 6 and 7.5.
It
So-
would just barely fit.
Again, it can't be any wider than those 4 feet, right? Because if it's any wider, any taller, it will run into the walls and won't fit. Okay? Alright, so tomorrow we will get some practice with this.